I got to commend all of the guys back in the shop that build these motors. It would have been a year next week since we've had a motor failure, and Terry Ellard and all the guys back in the motor shop with that Caterpillar Pontiac just really worked the tails off, and they've got great motors, great horsepower. This stuff just happens sometimes, but they'll get back to the shop and figure out what it was.
First motor failure in about a year, and like Benny Parsons says, the law of averages often catches up with you.
Ward Burton 11th in the point standings coming in, knocking on the door for the top 10, so it's definitely going to hurt him in that respect. Well, Tony Stewart, remember a few laps ago, there is the gas can. Tony Stewart left pit road with the second gas can attached. Now, as he came onto the track, he shook it loose. And then just a few minutes after that, we saw some fuel escaping.
A lot of fuel escaping. That's something you don't want to see. And see that guy back here? He's working on that, trying to get that connector a little bit better the next time so he can get that gas can loose. Because you don't want to lose that fuel, and certainly he was penalized too, had to do a stop and go to come back into the pits. Jerry?
And Ned, that being a closed system, what happened was when the gas can was stuck in the outside of the car, the dry brake, which is a spring-loaded lever that actually seals the system, that spring was cocked open. That allowed air to flow through the system and allowed gas to actually come out there, as well as the overflow. Now, once the system is closed, gas cannot come out because there's a valve in the back and the overflow. That's what they came back in, and the gas man there was taking a look at. Jeff Patterson was trying to make sure that the dry brake would actually clamp all the way shut and seal it so the gas would stay in. That's what he was doing at the back of the car on that follow-up stop.
Pennzoil Copter Cam is following Tony Stewart, who is back in the, where is he? 26th position at the moment. His average finish the last 7 races, 8th. Pretty good crowd on hand here at Watkins Glen today, despite the bad weather that we have had all weekend long. But the forecast was for good weather today, and indeed that's what we have. And there you can see on the right lower right portion of your screen the boot area that Ned talked about a little bit earlier, that they do not use here at Watkins Glen for the NASCAR Winston Cup races. That was part of the old Formula One course that, of course, was used for many years here. 5 drivers who have had great runs here at the Glen. Let's compare them. Mark Martin, 11 races, 3 wins, average finish of 5th. Jeff Gordon has 2 wins, average finish 8.2. And back there to Rusty Wallace, who has 2 victories at this facility, but whose average finish is 12th. All right, we get set to go back to green. As you can see, the lights atop the pace truck are no longer flashing. And so on lap number 38, we'll get the green, Doc.
Guys, Rusty Wallace pitted on lap 20. They can only go 32 laps on fuel, which means he comes in on lap 52. 32 more to that puts him in at lap 84, which is 6 laps shy of the finish. He still has to make 2 pit stops. Why didn't they pit just now? Robin Pemberton said we could not afford to give up all that track position here as the green was coming back out.
Rusty Wallace celebrated his 43rd birthday yesterday. Robin Pemberton celebrating his 43rd birthday today. And Rusty has the lead in turn number 1. Wally Dallenbach and Jeff Gordon are side by side through the corner. And here comes Dale Jarrett.
Wally was all over Jeff Gordon there on the restart. DJ tries to make a pass there, but couldn't quite do it.
Kenny Irwin is up into 4th position. On board with Jarrett.
Now remember, he has fresher tires than does Wally Dallenbach. And here is the 28 of Kenny Irwin trying to get in the picture.
It was made clear. It was made official this weekend that Kenny Irwin would not return with the Robert Yates number 28 car in the year 2000. Now we are on board again with Jarrett looking back on Irwin.
Jarrett's 4th and Irwin 5th. Had a top 5 finish since finishing 3rd in the Daytona 500. I think that's right.
And Jeff Gordon challenges Rusty Wallace for the lead once again. because of the cautions that we have had, several drivers are off sequence as far as pit stops are concerned. Boris Said has led 9 laps in this race. He's back in 15th, but we will be seeing him move up as other cars make pit stops.
Yeah, you see that on road courses. They get off sequence. Some can get better fuel mileage than others, and some just have different strategy than others. But he went far enough that he could make it on one more pit stop, and he's moving in on Mike Skinner there, wanted to take over the 13th position, but he couldn't quite make that pass.
Kenny Irwin had a 10th place finish at Dover, Ned. Did have a good run last week at Indianapolis, finishing 13th, but he has a really good run going here today. There's Jimmy Spencer, who's not doing bad and who had a good run at Sears Point. Fellows is just a couple of cars behind Boris Said. The other drivers making their first start here in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. There's Ron.
Great road racer. As pointed out at the top of the show, has good experience here at the Glen in bush race and truck race. Gordon trying everything he knows to try to get by Rusty Wallace.
Rusty has only won one time in 1999. Started from the pole, led the most laps, and won at Bristol. And now here at Watkins Glen, he set a new track record in capturing his second pole of the year.
We're going back to Bristol in a couple of weeks, Michigan next week, and then Bristol the following week.
On Saturday night. Yep. Oh, look at Jeff close in.
He's working on him. He can be an intimidator when he wants to be. He's got a fast race car. But intimidating Rusty Wallace on the road course might be a little harder to do than it might be to some other drivers on other types of racetracks.
More trouble for Tony Stewart. He misses the inner loop, and
okay, as long as he slows down and lets the cars go by that he passed and gets back in his position, that's okay. And it looks like he did that.
As long as you don't gain any significant advantage by missing the inner loop, then they will not penalize you. Now, Stewart started second at Sears Point, finished in 15th position in his first run on a road course since he ran go-karts in the early stages of his race driving career. So this is his first competition here at the Glen.
Had great qualifying runs at both, as we see Terry Labonte making a pass on Michael Waltrip, but he qualified on the outside pole at Sears Point.
Yep.
Tony Stewart did, and then fourth here.
He's back in 36th position. The last car on the lead lap. We have 4 cars that are not on the lead lap at the moment, and the 61 car of Murray off the track, and the 22 of Ward Burton, the only one officially listed as out of the race. The 11 car of Brett Bodine is down 24 laps and shown in 43rd position, but he still is on the racetrack. The NASCAR Frontier at the Glen continues in a moment. ESPN welcomes you back to our live coverage of the Frontier at the Glen. On board with Rusty Wallace. Up ahead, Jeff Gordon's in the lead. And when you talk about consecutive road course wins in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Jeff Gordon is indeed the king of the road. 4 straight. Gurney, Pearson, Richmond, and Wallace won 3 straight, but Gordon is going for his 5th in a row here today. And he has indeed gotten the lead from Rusty Wallace. Did it just a few moments ago. And this is how he did it. Like it was coming out of turn 1.
Turn 1, got down on the inside, heads up through the S's, made the pass, and away he went.
Wide as Gordon stretches the advantage a little bit over Rusty Wallace. Jeff has led 23 laps so far. Rusty has led 9. So has Boris Said. Wally Dallenbach was at the front of the field on 2 laps. Here's the Lowe's field summary. Ford leading the manufacturers' points battle. And the best running Ford at the moment, Rusty Wallace. Gordon, of course, leads the Chevrolet contingent. As far as the Pontiacs are concerned, Kyle Petty, who's running back in 13th, is the best among them. We're nearing the halfway point. When they come down next time, they'll complete lap number 44. This is a 90-lap race. Back there in third position is Wally Dallenbach, with Dale Jarrett right behind him. And then Jimmy Spencer has passed Kenny Irvan recently. You see that, and Sterling Marlin is off course.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage to the right side of that car. You see him spinning those wheels?
Yeah.
Boy, that is to no avail, because he's just making the matters worse trying to do that. But it's a natural thing to do, to hope that you can pull out of there, but you can't do it.
He was in 16th position when he went into the sand trap, and I'm sure this is going to cause an overall caution here, because they're going to have to get that car out of the sand trap. And once again, it is in the inner loop.
He might have got tapped from behind. You understand it was a 97 car, and around he goes out into the sand. And there's not as good a runoff place there as there is, say, in turn one, for you to keep the car going, because you're spinning around, and you're not going in a forward motion there, so you can keep it going in that sand. When you get in there, you're just going to get stuck.
Pennzoil copter cam shows us where he is in relation to the racetrack, and indeed the caution is coming out. The leaders have not taken the caution, but other members of the field have. Here comes Jeff and Rusty, headed for turn number 11, and they will now take the caution flag.
Yeah, they're not racing each other back to the flag now. They saw the caution lights around the track.
Boris Said has moved back up into 7th position, and Ron Fellows is 10th, but Jeff Gordon is the leader of the Frontier at the Glen, and we'll be right back.
People.
He has been rescued from the sand trap. There's Sterling Marlin as he's been pulled out of the area up there near the inner loop. He did, however, lose a lap, and so he will go back to the 38th position.
Yeah, that's the bad.
All right, we're going to come in and put 4 tires on it.
Ernie Irvan making
and
a
work
pit stop.
on some, Sterling. So if they drop the jack, don't
And
leave
we go down to
untouched.
John Kernan.
Earlier, Ernie also visited the sand trap, or the gravel pits, whatever you want to call it. And on his pit stop now, we've seen like oil leak out of cars up pit road. We've seen water leak out of cars, brake fluid, other things leaking out of cars. Well, Ernie's car on pit road was leaking gravel out of the bell housing. So that's a new one.
Yeah, he was pretty deep in there, so I guess it picked up some there.
There are a lot of sad and scary faces around Watkins Glen, including the M&M.
Not that other guy.
Right. So Ernie will catch up with the field here as we have reached the halfway point of this event. 45 laps have been completed, and we see Sterling has also caught up to the rear of the field. The 61 car of David Murray is back on the track.
Okay, we see the leaders coming off of turn 11, and very few of them making a pit stop. Bobby Hamilton is coming down pit road, but this doesn't surprise me, Bob. Bobby Hamilton was running in 10th position, but if there was a marginal situation as far as fuel is concerned on this front runners, they were going to have to make 35 laps apiece. These caution laps are helping them to save that fuel, so they shouldn't have any problem in going on one more stop, right, Jerry?
Well, the big concern exactly, Ned, was that just that here in Rusty Wallace's pit. I mentioned he can only go 32 laps, maybe 33 on fuel. He pitted on lap 20. They were planning on a green flag stop on lap 52. So this caution is really, really helping the 2 crew, because what Robert Pemberton told Rusty, be very easy on that throttle. We got to save gas. I'm going to try to stretch the fuel mileage. If they can get to lap 56, 57, when the 24 car is going to pit, they can probably make that their final pit stop. Meanwhile, down at our end of pit road, the Home Depot car of Tony Stewart back in again for a pit stop as we check in with Bill Weber.
And John Andretti is back on pit road. He's already got left side tires. They swing around to put right side tires in. They've made a chassis adjustment. They're going to top him off with fuel, but they're also trying to make him improve the insulation on his left foot. They're also trying to basically patch some of the holes that are allowing the fumes and the well-heated air into the cockpit, into the driver's area that's driving him crazy, basically overheating his right foot. So now they're also going to check the toe on the right side, working with John to get the tires straight. One man leaning into the window. They had John pull the pin out of the net so they could drop the net as soon as they got here. So basically they're working to make the car better and the driver a little more comfortable. They did ask Ward Burton to hang around in his motor coach until the end of the race in case for some reason John would have to give up the seat.
John has had good runs on road courses recently. He finished 3rd at Sears Point early this year and finished 8th in this event in 1998. Back with more Frontier at the Glen in a moment. Back at Watkins Glen International on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, albeit cool and a little bit windy. We're at the Frontier at the Glen, and the green flag comes out to restart this race on the 48th lap. We ran 2 laps under caution. Jeff Gordon is the leader of the race, followed by Rusty Wallace, Wally Dallenbach, Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Spencer, Joe Nemechek, Boris Said, and others.
See Kenny Irvan back in the 28 car losing a couple of more positions back there. He ran 5th for a long time. Then Jimmy Spencer got by him, then several other drivers. So he's dropped back now to the 9th position.
There's Tony Stewart, who made another pit stop. Jerry?
Bobby took a rubber out of both front springs, a rubber insert out of both front springs. The car just absolutely too tight getting in through the middle of the corner, so they made an adjustment. That's why the lengthy stopped just a moment ago.
All right, and he is now back to the 34th spot, working his way up through the field once again. There is Boris Said and Ron Fellows running together now behind Joe Nemechek.
Jimmy Spencer all over Dale Jarrett. Jarrett running in 4th place. Spencer running in 5th.
How about that? Jimmy Spencer started 5th, finished 5th at the Glen, and he's running 5th here again.
He has become
quite the road racer.
Road racer, yes, sir. There goes Boris Said, taking a position away from Nemechek.
Yep, Nemechek having a good run. Nemechek is in 7th position. Boris has moved to 6th. And Boris Said slowing down.
We have a report that maybe he is slowing down.
Man.
Yeah, cars going by.
You got no gears at all? Just a wicked vibration. I'm running. All the engine vitals are normal.
So it sounds like a transmission problem.
Wow.
Okay, just pull it in behind the wall there. That's before you get to our pit stalls, right after the Kodak opening.
Oh, and he had a great run going here today.
He sure did. Veteran of the Trans Am Series, also a veteran of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, where he has competed 59 times with 1 win here at Sears Point and 2 poles on road courses at Topeka and Portland. Qualified 2nd here for the Frontier at the Glen, but apparently a transmission problem has ended his day. So back up front, we have Jeff Gordon leading Rusty Wallace by about 3/4 of a second, then about 2 seconds back to Wally Dallenbach. Dallenbach, of course, knows at the moment that he will not be back with the Rick Hendrick team in the year 2000. Jerry Nadeau will drive the 25 car beginning next year. On board with the tied car of Ricky Rudd, who is in 11th spot.
And he's chasing the 31, the Lowe's car of Mike Skinner. Trying to make a pass on him.
There's Mark Martin right behind.
Well, Mark Martin had made a pit stop. He couldn't go on one more pit stop. He pitted the first time when the other leaders did. He was running in the top 5, and then he made that pit stop. So he's been back in the field, but has worked his way back up now to 12th place. And, of course, he will have to make another pit stop. But he can go a little bit farther than those up front.
Jerry Nadeau right here.
Yeah, Mark didn't fight him. He said, okay, if you want that position, go ahead.
By the way, Boris Said did make it behind the wall. On board, the Jimmy Dean Sausage onboard camera, which is being carried by Kyle Petty here this afternoon. Kyle is back in 14th position. He had an unfortunate situation yesterday or the day before when his vacation home was damaged by fire.
Like it was burned down. We're sorry to hear that, but happy that no one was there, so there were no injuries as far as that's concerned in the mass fire near Charleston, South Carolina.
Up through the S's, a good battle between Mike Skinner and Ricky Rudd.
Those guys are really going at it.
And Jerry Nadeau, and Mark Martin, and Kyle Petty.
Yeah.
Oh, Nadeau to the inside of Rudd, picking up the position.
Well, he puts a lot of trust in those brakes. He don't mind driving it down into those corners.
I talked to Jerry Nadeau yesterday, and he said he's one of those who really like these concrete patches that they're running over right now that have been installed in several of the corners here.
Martin with Mark Martin here. Valve lean forward. Now Nadeau took a look on the inside of Mike Skinner, but no room there at that point of the racetrack.
Down the long front straightaway here.
While we're watching this action, Ron Fellows has passed Dale Jarrett for the 4th place.
And John Kernan is with Boris Said.
Boris in the garage area, the crew checking out the car. Boris, what's wrong?
I don't know. I'm not much of a mechanic, but I mean, you know, this team, I can't say enough about it. I mean, we got 11 full-time people at Irvan Civil Racing. They built and designed this car. We built our own motors with signature engines, and unfortunately, we have something in the drivetrain that caused a real bad vibration, and it's too bad. I mean, we got a great sponsor, Federated Auto Parts, and you know, we were in contention today, and we got the lead 5, got our 5 bonus points for the championship, so that was fun to lead a little bit. And I mean, I just can't thank Ford enough for all their support. It's my wife's birthday today, so I thought I was going to give her a happy birthday. Sorry, Karen, but it was still a good run for us. Got a lot of experience and had a lot of fun. Just, I think our day's cut short. It was too bad.
Well, he did get the 5 bonus points, but I think he needs another season or so to catch Dale Jarrett in the points.
And Boris did lead 9 laps, so a good run for Boris overall. You see Ricky Rudd in the mix of this battle here for position. Rudd coming off his first top 10 of 1999 at the Brickyard last week, finishing in 9th position. He's also changed engine builders, now getting his motors from Pro Motors, but here, as we see them going down into corner number 1, Mark Martin passes Ricky Rudd, and so move Martin up to the 12th position.
And Jerry Nadeau made the pass around Kenny Irvan, and we mentioned a moment ago that Ron Fellows had passed Dale Jarrett. He now has passed Wally Dallenbach and has moved into 3rd. So for you Ron Fellows fans, he is on the move. He's about almost 5 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Continuing to set the pace as we watch this battle back here for position. You see some of the cars flying over those rumble strips, getting a little bit airborne as they do.
Yeah, this is much better racing going on back here than there is up front.
Indeed, because Jeff is now almost a full second ahead of Rusty Wallace, and last time around Jeff was the fastest car on the racetrack at 119.5 compared to Rusty Wallace's 119.4. And Wally Dallenbach, we see him coming off of corner number 11 and ducking toward the pits.
I'd say this is a scheduled pit stop, right, John?
That's exactly right. They're getting right around 37, 38 laps. Tell them to get on in the pits, get on in the pits. This will be their last pit stop. They hand some cold towels and a drink to Wally. No changes that we can see right now. Take off one of the tearaways to clean the windshield. It'll be 4 tires and full of fuel, and Dallenbach should be able to go distance from here.
Some very interesting strategy being played out here that could result in, well, who knows? Wally Dallenbach's 18.9-second pit stop on lap number 54 could be his last.
He's going to have to stretch it a little bit further than most of the others, but he is one of those drivers that stopped on lap 14, expecting to make it on one more pit stop. Now, most of the others stopped on lap 20, and they can run a few more laps yet before they would need to come in. In fact, they'd like to go to lap 58 or somewhere in that neighborhood, 56 to 58.
Dale Jarrett making a pit stop.
Well, this is a little earlier than I thought he would come in. He was one of those that stopped on lap 20, but maybe they figure they can go the rest of the way, John.
That's the plan there, to go the rest of the way. It'll be a 4-tire change. They will make a chassis adjustment in the right rear of the car. Also pull out that left front fender just a little bit around the top part of it. Rights are already changed. Now they're going to clean the windshield. Left's going on.
pit road. Remember the great run he had here last year with a fuel mileage attempt. Ended up finishing third. They've already got the left side tires on. Come around to the right side. Going to get every ounce of fuel they can in this car. They've already warned Skinner about being cautious when he leaves pit road. Mike's on his way. He'll go past his teammate. Earnhardt is getting right side tires. Fuel going in. The car down. Briefly stalls. Earnhardt recaptures and continues.
Moving slowly now, accelerating as he moves back out onto the racetrack, and Rusty Wallace gives up his second position to make a pit stop on lap number 56. Doc, he's headed toward you.
Bob, 35 miles an hour. They plan on making a quarter round adjustment in the track bar. Rusty said it would help him get into the inner loop and into turn one. Today is Robin Pemberton's 43rd birthday. He is really gambling right now. He would love to be able to get a little bit of gas as a birthday present. They can only go between 32 and 34 laps. As they pit now, they may be a lap shy, but they're going to gamble from what I hear them saying on the radio. Right, left side tires going on. There's the track bar adjustment in the left rear of the crew, scampering to the right side. Billy Welburn pulls the right front tire off. They clean the windshield. They have told Rusty, careful on the throttle. Careful. Rusty is out of the way.
18.4 second pit stop for Rusty Wallace, and he moves back into competition. Kenny Irwin has come in. He was running up in the top 10, but makes another pit stop. Here comes Kyle Petty down pit road. Steve Park also coming back out onto the racetrack. We see Darrell Waltrip coming back out onto the track. He and Stevie are celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary today. Congratulations. So are Billy and Martha Clark. And here comes Jeff Gordon down pit road. Jerry Punch once again. Jeff is headed toward your way.
Ray Evernham telling him 4,000 RPMs. That's 35 miles per hour. 4 tires, 2 cans of gas, no adjustments. Now they can go 34 laps to 35 laps on fuel. They should be okay to make it the rest of the way, as we have just that amount to lap 90 for the checkered flag. Routine pit stop now. No adjustments, no air pressure adjustments, no wedge, no track bar. Very routine stop. The Rainbow Warriors, now right side tires going on. They get it completely full of fuel, and Gordon easy on the front. Let's go up to Bill Weber.
This has been a good day for Joe Nemechek. His car's a little tight. They made an air pressure adjustment in both the front tires. A half pound out. Nemechek's on his way.
Bill Elliott completing his
all you can. Go, go, go.
Here comes Jimmy Spencer back out onto the racetrack. So a flurry of activity here on the 55, 56, 57th laps.
Now there are a number of cars, including Mark Martin, that stopped at another caution flag, so he should be able to go a few more laps yet before he'll have to come in. In fact, he would need to go past the 60 lap mark before he would be able to go the rest of the way.
And there is the leader of the race, Ron Fellows, with Jerry Nadeau now running in second position. We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage in a moment from the Glen. ESPN welcomes you back to live coverage at the Frontier at the Glen, and more auto racing coming up for you next from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the Kart FedEx Championship Series in the Miller Lite 300. Dario Franchitti on the pole for that race, so stay with us for more auto racing coverage. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. For the first time in his Winston Cup career, Jerry Nadeau is leading. Ron Fellows was leading. He has made a pit stop, but Jerry Nadeau remains on the racetrack. Now we go to Bill Weber with an update on the 87 car of Fellows.
Well, Bob, just an impressive run, and apparently, according to the crew, Ron Fellows said don't change a thing. He's happy with the handle of the car. They can reach the end. He's got 4 tires and enough fuel, so just waiting for Nadeau to come in and see what happens to him. But it's been a good run for Fellows. We'll see how he finishes. Let's check in with Jerry Punch.
1 lap ago, Mark Martin on pit road. Jimmy Phoenix said we're going to go up on air pressure on all 4 tires. Routine pit stop. They got it full of fuel, and according to car owner Jack Roush, who figures the gas, they should be okay to go to lap 90. John Kernan.
Jimmy Spencer was in, the new road course king, I guess we could call him. But Jimmy came in, took on 4 tires, no adjustments to the car. They can go the rest of the way. And Kenny Wallace is coming down pit road now for his final pit stop. Pulls into the stall. The crew, remember, they do the right side tires first, just so as to not to break up their sequence of a regular pit stop. So they'll do right sides, then they'll go around to the left side. Right side work is done. No adjustments just yet. Car getting full of fuel. Kenny sitting there patiently waiting. Lefts are on. They pull a piece of, it's like a piece of tape or something off the side of the car and throw it over the pit wall, but Kenny guns the engine, and he is down and away. He is good to go the rest of this race.
He was running in 8th position when he came into the pits.
Slowly down at 35 miles an hour until he reaches the pit out marker and then can accelerate. There it is, and Kenny accelerates, goes back out onto the racetrack. Here, meanwhile, comes the leader of the race, Jerry Nadeau, who we said earlier will go to the 25 car, now being driven by Wally Dallenbach.
Two tires and little fuel when we come in.
Now, it is interesting that we heard during the commercial break his crew tell him,
you're as fast as the leaders right now.
that's what I was going to point out. He is indeed running 118.9, and that's about as fast as we've seen anybody running. He's on old tires.
Yes, that's very impressive. And they talk about just putting on 2 tires when he does make his pit stop. And his future teammate,
Terry Labonte, is in. Labonte gives up his 3rd position down to the pits.
And Terry Labonte's going to get 4 tires, and he'll have enough fuel to reach the finish. Been a frustrating day for this team. Last time they were on pit road, they went underneath the car, made a major sway bar adjustment by taking off the rear tires and bolting the old tires back on. Now he's got 4 tires, 18.9 seconds. Terry Labonte returns to the fray.
of course, when I say future teammate, Jerry Nadeau will be joining Hendrick Motorsports next year, along with Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon.
And Terry comes out just ahead of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt running back in the 21st position. Jeff Burton running in 22nd.
Both the 3 and 99 cars have spun earlier today, but still out there running on the lead lap.
33 cars on the lead lap, and Rich Bickle just spun.
Oh, that's too bad. He was running in 5th place.
Wow. Tyler Jet Motorsports. By the way, they have signed a sprint car driver for their Busch Series ride next year, Tyler Walker, as they expand their motorsports involvement. Let's take a look at Rich Bickle's spin. Again, this is in turn number 10, exiting turn number 10, running by himself.
All by himself. He makes a 360 there. Let's see if he gets her straightened back out. Yeah, hey, that's good. He only lost 1 position. Yeah. Rusty Wallace got by him, so he's still in 6th place.
Good job by Rich Bickle as he stays out on the racetrack, and we get more from John Kernan.
The news for Rich Bickle is he's within 3 laps of making it to the end of the race. So the crew is trying to tell him now to just calm down, shake that spin off, just concentrate on what you're doing. Maybe we'll get a caution to help us out in our fuel situation, but as it stands right now, Bickle is 3 laps short of making the rest of the distance of this race.
There's some damage on the front end of the car.
And he's losing positions as well. He has dropped back now to the 11th position. Ernie Irvan, for you Ernie Irvan fans, he's back on pit road with the car jacked up and the hood up, and he's gone 2 laps down, now about to go 3 laps down.
Well, Jerry Nadeau is building up quite an advantage. Now, there's the 75 car of Ted Musgrave, who is a lap down. The interval between Jerry Nadeau and the 2nd place car, which at the moment is Bobby Hamilton, is more than 19 1/4 seconds. Jerry Nadeau leading a NASCAR Winston Cup race for the first time in his career in his 56th race. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, Bill Weber, Jerry Punch back at the frontier of the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race. There is Jerry Nadeau, the leader of the race. Let's check out the Bud race recap. Jerry has led 7 of the 65 laps that have been completed. We've had 8 lead changes, 5 caution periods, totaling 11 laps, and an average speed of 87.681 miles an hour.
And Bob, he has run 31 laps since he made his pit stop. Jeff Gordon, you see the number of laps that he has led. So he's got to come in here before too long. Boy, he's smoking that right front tire.
He did the last lap, so he's still giving it all he's got.
Yeah, he sure is.
He should be coming in, we hear, next lap. There you go.
And that would be good strategy, Bob, because he doesn't want to catch the slow traffic in front of him and have this traffic hold him up.
Well, I'll be darned. Is that a familiar voice, folks?
How did he know that 500 miles away?
Hi, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Benny Parsons. We mentioned earlier that he had some eye surgery a couple of days ago. How you feeling, first of all? You okay?
Well, I think so. Feel a little rough right now, but I'm watching a great race, so that makes me feel a little bit better.
There you go. We miss you and hope to see you back at Michigan next weekend. So what's your assessment of what's going on here?
Well, I mean, Jerry Nadeau right now is probably going to change 2 tires and maybe one can he make it on 1 more can of fuel, or does he have to put 2? If he has to put 2 cans of fuel in, that will certainly hurt, because he'll have to spend a lot of time on pit road, and he'll be losing several positions. But if he can get by on 1 can and just 2 tires, he may get back out in the top 5 if he doesn't run off the dirt first.
Yeah, he's testing it. He's not backing off for a moment.
Yeah, let's see. He's going to come in. Here he comes.
Now, here he comes.
Bill Weber, we're going to...
First gear, 3,400 all the way down.
As he comes down.
Don't go until I tell you to go now, Jerry. This is very important. 2 tires, left side, can and a half of gas. Hit your spot now, straight in.
Benny, they were hoping to do it on 1 can. Now they're going to need a can and a half. They said they're as fast on old tires, almost as fast as the leaders were with 4. So they're going to go on 2. They did count Nadeau down to the number of laps until he was going to pit, so he did abuse his tires up until the point he came down pit road. Now he's clear to go. They got the can and a half in, left side tires on. Remember how confident he was after his qualifying lap on Friday. Now he's going to have to make up some time on the racetrack.
He's going to drop back to somewhere around 10th or 11th, it looks like.
Maybe not quite that far back. No, he's out in front of Ron Fellows, who is running in 6th position. So that was a great stop. He's got those 2 fresh tires, enough fuel to go the rest of the way. Now, Fellows has been fast all day. Let's see. This will be a good race between that Ford and Chevrolet.
And we're down for the interlude. That Jarrett back there in the background, running in the 7th spot.
I really wonder if he has enough fuel to make it. He was one of those that stopped a little bit earlier, certainly, than Rusty Wallace, and he stopped 1 lap earlier than Rusty Wallace, and a couple of laps earlier than did Jeff Gordon.
At the moment, it's Bobby Hamilton who is leading this race, with Michael Waltrip running 2nd, about 20 seconds behind. And then, here's Rich Bickle, who was in the 8th spot. He's in the trap, and this is going to bring out a full course caution.
What a tough break for Jerry Nadeau. Now, if he had just changed 4 tires, he'd be in good shape.
Yeah, he would, Benny, but if that caution had come out while he was still out there, though, he would have went to the back of the pack. See, he beat a lot of those cars that would have passed him on pit road had he been on the, made a caution flag pit stop. So really, I think that it worked out the best for him.
Caution is waving once again. And there is the leader, the 4 car of Bobby Hamilton. The caution comes out on lap number 69. There's Bobby Labonte, who's just ahead, who is a lap down, or now at the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, he's going to get back on the lead lap here, it looks like.
There are 34 cars on the lead lap. I'm not sure that Hamilton has taken the caution, has he?
I don't think he has, and as a result, these drivers can pass him. Jeff Bodine and Bobby Labonte can race back to the line, and Bobby Hamilton is not going to race them back to the line.
Now, Jeffrey was 2 laps down, but now he is 1 lap down since he did go around Hamilton, and he takes the caution, so that is the situation here on lap number 70. Benny, we all wish you the best, and we'll be back with him and everybody else in just a moment. ESPN's coverage of the Frontier at the Glen is being brought to you by WD-40, the can with 1,000 uses, just enough to get you through the weekend. By Jimmy Dean, America's favorite sausage and sponsor of the number 30 Jimmy Dean Pontiac. And by by Miller Lite, a true taste, a true Pilsner. Under caution, here's John Kernan.
Bobby Hamilton will be pitting the next time by. They'll put on 4 tires, put in the fuel into the car. One problem with this car, it is running just a little bit hot on the water temperature, so they're going to try and cool that down. Also, one of the fenders is kind of pushed in a little bit. They're going to try and fix that out, but other than that, it'll be a normal pit stop for Bobby Hamilton. 4 tires and fuel.
Then we talked about Jerry Nadeau just thinking Bobby Hamilton had stopped a lap before the caution flag. How much better he'd be off than he is going to be right now.
Yes, he would be a lot better off, Benny, but now he's going to have to go to the back of the pack. Bill Weber.
And it's the same situation, you guys, for Michael Waltrip. He was really hoping, A, to stay out long enough to lead a lap and then be able to pit under the green, so they're very distressed that the caution came out. Also, about 20 laps ago, Michael did a little off-road racing. Thinks he might have knocked the rear bar off the car. It's been very tight ever since. They're going to take a look at that. But they're disappointed not only with the caution, but now with the condition of the car. Jerry?
And Jeff Gordon pitted at lap 56. Their calculation said they can go 34 laps. If you do the math, that means they can make it all the way to lap 90, but they were very, very close. Now, Rusty Wallace, who pitted on lap 55, they did the calculations. Tom Hoke did the calculations over and over again and told Robin Pemberton, we are 1 lap shy of the checkered flag. We need caution for 2 laps. Guess what? Caution just came out. They've been celebrating ever since. They still tell Rusty it's going to be very, very close, so be careful with the throttle. Back to John Kernan.
Bobby Hamilton is in. You can see they're taking some tape off of the grill, where the grill has been pushed in. That interrupts the airflow into the radiator, which is why his car has been running just a little bit hot. So the tires are going on, no adjustments. He is down and away to Bill Weber.
Oh, Michael Waltrip's on pit road. I wish you could have heard the disappointment in his voice when he was talking to his crew. He's already got left side tires, right side's going on, fuel's in. Michael's away. He's going to have to watch out for Sterling. They can head down pit road.
Sterling Marlin also pulling away. Kenny Irwin makes a pit stop. So does John Andretti. On board with Sterling as he begins to accelerate now. And being stopped, but now being allowed to go.
And he did get those 5 bonus points because Bobby Hamilton stopped short of his pit position is short of the start finish line, and Michael Waltrip did lead that lap, even though it's on pit road.
20 laps to go in the Frontier at the Glen. 70 complete. Sun-drenched crowd today after a couple of days of bad weather. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International as we are under caution at the Frontier at the Glen. This is the silly season. A lot of changes are being made. A lot of driver announcements already have been made, and so you can keep up with everything that's going on in NASCAR, not only in Winston Cup, but their other divisions on their official website, www.nascar.com, NASCAR Online. Dale Earnhardt is in his 600th consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup event. The streak started at Richmond in September of 1979, and there you can see how that has come about. His 100th start came at Riverside. About every 3 or 4 years, he adds another 100, and today 600 straight. And he is currently 22nd here at the Glen. Well, BP, we're going green here, and we've got 71 laps in the books, and Jeff Gordon at the front of the field.
But Rusty Wallace looked like Rusty struggled a little bit at the very start of this race, but it looks like now that they've made some adjustments to the car, and it looks like he's pretty doggone good. Now, can he keep up with Jeff Gordon? Interesting to see in the next few laps.
Ron Fellows and Jerry Nadeau will fall in 3rd and 4th behind Rusty, and Dale Jarrett losing a couple of positions here.
No, DJ had gotten up beside him, Jerry Nadeau, trying to take the position, but it didn't quite work.
And the 10 and the 23 real close to having a collision. Rudd and Spencer on board with Bill Elliott.
One thing you have to be very careful about is not, when you touch somebody, not knock a fender in on a tire. 19 laps to go, the 18 when they come back.
That's a good point there, because a fender knocked in on a tire could be disastrous to Dale Jarrett right now, because, and you will see a battle for second spot as Fellows goes by Rusty Wallace into second place.
Is that guy good or what on the road course?
He is unbelievable, especially at Watkins Glen.
The Canadian driver showing how it's done here this afternoon on a road course. Up to second. Jeff Gordon has claimed the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. He has now led 37 of the 72. Other leaders, Rusty Wallace 9 laps, Nadeau 9, Said 9. Fellows has led 3, Dallenbach 2, Hamilton 2, and Michael Waltrip has led 1 lap.
I was talking about that fender on the tire. An unscheduled pit stop right now could be disastrous because how many cars on the lead lap now?
34.
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly right. That's what Ned and I talked about in our open. If you have trouble even on the last lap, you're running in the top 5, you have trouble on the last lap, boy, you can lose a lot.
And that's crucial for all of those who are battling for the points.
Especially Dale Jarrett trying to stay in the points lead. Currently in 5th spot, about 2 seconds behind Jeff Gordon. Now behind the 88, how about Tony Stewart, who has had one problem after another, had numerous visits to pit road, including a penalty as assessed to him because he carried his gas can off pit road, but he is up to 6th spot.
Yeah, I thought he would have to make a pit stop on that last caution ball, but he didn't, and apparently he's okay to go the rest of the way. He had stopped on lap 56, so yeah, I didn't realize it was that. So he's in good shape. Here comes Ricky Rudd trying to pass Mark Martin, taking over the 9th position, moving Mark back to 10th. And here comes Jimmy Spencer down on the inside of Mark. Mark, of course, in 2nd place in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standing. So that was 8 points he lost right there when those 2 drivers went by.
Who was fastest last lap, guys? Was it Jeff Gordon or Ron Fellows?
Ron Fellows. No, it was Jeff Gordon. I beg your pardon.
No, it was Fellows.
Yeah, that's right, it was. Yeah, he was 119.8, Benny, and Jeff Gordon was 119.2.
Wow, more from Bill Weber.
And they're calling out lap times to Fellows, and the last time by, a minute 13.6 for Fellows, a minute 13.9 for Jeff Gordon.
He is closing the interval, and it was more than a second. Now it's down to less than 3/4 of a second. We'll get the official interval as they cross the line. Here comes Tony Stewart, who is running just ahead of Wally Dallenbach. Just to show you what kind of a day Tony Stewart has had, he started in 4th position, has been as low as 39th, and as high as 5th, currently in the 6th position. That last lap, BP, Jeff Gordon was the fastest by just a tick of the watch, and he lengthened the interval just a little bit up to 0.8 of a second once again.
But it looks like those 2 cars are pretty doggone evenly matched.
And I'm sure that Jeff Gordon would like to make a statement here today. You know, a lot has been said and written about these experienced road racers like Ron Fellows and Boris Said. And Gordon, of course, has established himself as being one of the greats in road racing, too. And he wants to prove to the world that on a given day that, by golly, he can run with them or outrun them. And right now, he's outrunning.
Jerry has more on the 39-year-old Canadian Ron Fellows.
Exactly, guys. Back at the last week of July, that he came up here to test, and some pretty good cars here, including Jeff Gordon, the car he's driving today, Dale Jarrett, and some others. And Ron Fellows, fresh off the truck, was the fastest of the cars in testing. Not only was he fast, he was very, very consistent. Carl owner Joe Nemechek said we'd make no adjustments, and he's running laps at a minute 13 flat with minimal of change on the car. I think that's sort of stuck in the craw of some of the Winston Cup regulars. Now we're going to see if Gordon can stay out front or Fellows can duplicate what he did here in July and run him down.
Well, BP, we're going to let you go, but before we do, what do you think is going to happen here in the next 15 laps?
Well, it looks like it's going to stay about the same because one lap Gordon is faster, the next lap Fellows. But I tell you, Ron Fellows appears to me to be gaining a little bit on Jeff Gordon right now.
That seems to go up and down. Should be a good race. We're going to let you go because you need the rest, and we need to have you back next week in Michigan.
Fans, see you next week in Michigan. Bob, Ned, you guys, all you guys doing a terrific job. See you next week.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Benny Parsons from his home in Charlotte after some eye surgery a couple of days ago. Less than 15 to go at the Frontier at the Glen. Gordon leads Fellows.
This insane machine cruises at 240 miles per hour and comes with a price tag of $1 million. So where, I ask you, is the rich Corinthian leather?
Kart racing, today at 3:30 on ESPN.
Get ready for ESPN Sunday Night Football.
I wonder if that Ricky Williams is worth all the fuss.
Can Denver dominate without John Elway?
How come they never mention the dinosaurs in the Bible?
The season begins September 12th.
ESPN continues its coverage of the Frontier at the Glen from here at Watkins Glen. Overhead shot courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. And in about 35 minutes from right now, after our coverage of this event, we'll be taking you to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Kart FedEx Championship Series Miller Lite 200. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com. Jeff Gordon has a 1.06-second lead on Ron Fellows. He's stretched it out just a little bit, and last lap he was just a tick of the watch faster than Fellows.
The last 2 laps he's been just a tick of the watch faster, Bob, and it was about 0.8 of a second. As you say, stretch it out to 1:06. Now that's not a long way, but you can see right there how far it is. And there's Rusty Wallace. He's almost 4 seconds behind Gordon.
For a taste of the race, here's the Jimmy Dean sausage telemetry on Rusty Wallace's car. Notice how he brakes hard going into the inner loop.
Yeah, that's the place you really have to get on those binders, then get off of them, get down the RPMs a little bit there. You change gears and then hits the brake a little bit going into this corner, and then it's going to accelerate pretty hard here for a little while, and you see those RPMs go up to over 9,000 there.
And up to over 160 miles an hour just briefly.
Goes into turn 10 there, brakes again, then accelerates short straightaway here into turn 11, a right-hander, and back towards the start-finish line.
And up ahead is the second place car, Fellows, but quite a distance.
But Ron Fellows did close into 2/3 of a second, 65 hundredths that last time, so his lap speed was 119.7. Jeff Gordon was just barely over 119.
And Rusty sees them up ahead as Rusty heads now up through the S's. Once again, we have a spin on the racetrack. Jimmy Spencer, stay out of the wall and stay out of the sand trap, and I believe he did both.
Boy, he did. That's amazing that he didn't get in there, so he keeps going. Shouldn't be any caution, but he lost a lot of position.
Oh, Ned, he was running in 10th position. Had a top 10 finish going here with 11 laps to go.
Oh, that's too bad. There's Mark Martin up to 10th now. Mark was running the 11th place.
He lost 10 positions. Will drop back to the 20th spot, coming out just ahead of Johnny Benson and Elliott Sadler. Here's a replay.
Well, let's see. Mark Martin looks like he's trying to get on the inside of Spencer, or either Spencer trying to get by. Yeah, Mark was trying to get by. And I don't know if they touched or not. It was hard to tell. They were very, very close. It's going into turn 1, but Spencer does a great job. Looks like he's going to get into the styrofoam bars there, but he made it.
And from the Jimmy Dean Sausage onboard camera being carried by Kyle Petty this afternoon. There is the incident.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of contact made, but Mark was trying to go by on the inside and had slowed down. Bill Elliott got by both of them on that start. Now we watched from Bill's car. Yeah, there you see the impact as Jimmy came down and Mark had to slow down and Bill Elliott went by. So Bill Elliott's now up to 10th place, and we see Mark Martin has dropped back to 12th because Kyle Petty got by him as well.
And up front again, Jeff has lengthened the interval just a little bit last lap and went back to 0.8 of a second, and Bobby Labonte is off course again.
That's too bad. Bobby had gotten out there and had picked up the 27th position. There are 34 cars on the lead lap, so he was running 35th before he got his lap back, but now it's going to cost him some of those positions. But he's still on the lead lap. Probably going to be in about 30th position.
There'll be 9 laps to go when Jeff Gordon hits the stripe, completing lap number 81. The interval between Jeff Gordon and Ron Fellows running in second position. We'll check the speeds here.
And Gordon was faster that time.
Jeff ran a 119.242. Second place Fellows ran a 1:18.9, and Dale Jarrett, third quick, had a 1:18.866 that last lap.
But he's still chasing the 9 car of Jerry Nadeau. He's been up on him a couple of times. Took a look inside going into turn 1 about 4 laps ago, but couldn't make the pass. So he might be content to sit there and ride. He's in a good position there. Nobody's chasing him too close to him behind. Tony Stewart's running in 6th place. Got a good comfortable lead over him. So 5th place would not be a bad finish here, especially Mark Martin running in 12th place, who is in 2nd place in the points.
And we have a record possibly broken here this afternoon if we can keep more than 30 cars on the lead lap. Let's go to John Kernan.
And I'm with Fellows crew chief Brian Patty. And Brian, do you have anything for that 24 car?
I would hope so. I just kept telling Ron to stay right there, put that yellow nose right there in the 24 mirror. But they're awfully tough. They're tough everywhere. He's Mr. Road Course right now. He's won 4 straight or something. So for this Bush team to put a car together, Team Sapco supply the motor. I mean, I think we're running exceptionally well. It's a win for our team if we can finish where we are. Chevrolet, Bullet Hill Vineyards, I think they all should be happy.
I think so too. Running second right now, trying to run down Jeff Gordon. What about another car? Here's Bill Weber.
With Robin Pemberton, crew chief for Rusty Wallace, can you catch the leader and can you get to the finish?
Well, we're about a 1/10 and a half or 2/10 off the leaders right now, and and as far as getting to the finish, that's probably just as close. So it's we might be about a half a lap short, but if everything goes right, we'll make it.
You can tell just walking into this pit, they're very disappointed. They thought they had a shot at all the marbles today, and doesn't look like it's going to happen right now. It's going to be very close to even getting to the finish without running out of fuel.
And it looks like the Jerry Nadeau is coming up, and Dale Jarrett both coming up on Rusty pretty quickly.
They are gaining. Rusty is losing time to the leaders, and it might be because he's conserving fuel and knowing that he can't catch the leaders anyway. So the smart thing to do would be to conserve fuel, because boy, if he runs out even with a half a lap to go, he's going to go back to 30th position or something. So
that's right.
So
on board with Dale Jarrett, points leader, looking for his first NASCAR Winston Cup championship this year. That's Nadeau up ahead, and up ahead of Jerry is Rusty Wallace.
Running about the same speed in the 118-mile-an-hour bracket now. So is Tony Stewart, who's running behind, but Tony's several seconds behind. As a matter of fact, he's about 4 seconds behind the 5th place car of Dale Jarrett.
Interval varies slightly from lap to lap, but Jeff Gordon maintaining about a 3/4 to 8/10. Now it's up to a little more than a second advantage on Ron Fellows. Has 19 career wins in the Trans Am Series, Ned, including 2 wins here at Watkins Glen. So he's experienced on this racetrack, and boy, he has just had a tremendous race today as Ricky Rudd slows from the 9th spot.
Oh, that's too bad. Ricky had another good run going, and he needed another good run. His season has not been very good. He's looking for a sponsor, giving himself a deadline in the middle of next month. He's to either get a sponsor or he'll sell his team. And now having problems here today. Had a good run going, as you say, in the top 10.
One of 3 drivers who won in 1998, but has not won so far in 1999. What's the matter with Rudd, John?
Bob, Ricky's transmission is hung in 2nd gear, and so we would expect him. No, it looks like he's not going to come into the pits this time, but he's just stuck in 2nd gear. Can't get it out. They've told him to just nurse the car as much as he can, because they'd lose a lot of spots if they came into the pits. He says he's been jerking on the shifter, but it just will not come out of gear. Stuck in 2nd gear. What a way to end the day for Ricky Rudd.
That's too bad, because he has to be very careful now as he heads up through the S's. That's one of the faster points of the racetrack, when he would get into 4th gear. So he's going to run those RPMs up there to where he knows the engine will stand it and let it go at that. And you see cars will pass him by because they're in high gear and running a lot faster. And then on the portions of the track where he needs to gear down, it's going to hurt him there as well. But it'll hurt him more on these long straightaways than anywhere else.
Another guy that has had a tough day is Bobby Labonte, who of course is very much in the points battle, but he is back in 30th position.
But that's better than he was going to be if had he not gotten his lap back. He was going to be 33 3 cars now on the lead lap. So he was going to be 34th or 35th, and that Interstate Batteries Pontiac has taken a little bit of a beating. The back end has been, since he spun early in the race, as the aerodynamics have not been what they need here.
And again, we remind everybody that he damaged a car severely in practice on Friday morning before qualifying. So
yeah, his primary car, and they were really saddened about that. It was not anything, just not anything that he did. The brake rotor broke on it, cut the left rear tire going into turn 9, and he spun it out. Actually, he didn't get to go through the interloop, and spun it out and crashed the car.
Last time, the interval between Gordon and and Johnny Benson bangs off the wall, the guardrail, and this may bring out the caution.
Yep, and it'd be a break for those who, like Rusty Wallace, who is, caution is coming out, who was marginal as far as fuel is concerned.
There are 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go, and it remains a question mark as to, and Ricky Rudd has made it to his pit stall, and they work on that car, locked in second gear. Johnny Benson brings out the caution. Here he is. Had a hard contact with the wall coming up through the S's on both sides of the racetrack. Now watch him go over here.
Yeah, he hit hard on that left side, much harder than he did on the right side. Of course, the car had slowed down considerably before he got to the other side of the racetrack.
Johnny Benson was running in 22nd position. The window net is down. He is out of the racetrack, of the race car. Jerry?
Ricky Rudd came down pit road. You heard John mention a moment ago that the car was stuck in second gear. The crew climbed under and was able to get it out of gear, so hopefully he can be able to get it, keep it in high gear and finish these last 4 laps or so. What a tough break for a driver who just needed a break here to get a good finish and try to attract some attention and sponsorship for next year.
16 consecutive seasons of winning at least 1 race, trying to extend that to 17 in 1999. There are less than 4 laps to go. We're under caution with Jeff Gordon leading Ron Fellows. Back at Watkins Glen International in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of central New York. This is the frontier at the Glen, the overhead shot of this 2.4-mile race course from the Pennzoil copter cam. Well, they are pulling Johnny Benson's car off the race course. He is out and okay, but when they come down to cross the stripe again, there will only be 3 laps left in this event. Now there is Ricky Rudd, who has fallen way back to 33rd position, the last car on the lead lap. Jerry Punch has more.
And Bob, believe the kind of luck Ricky Rudd is having. His car was stuck in second gear. He came down pit road, the clue jacked it up, came underneath the car, and jammed it out of second gear. And you know what it had it stuck? A piece of gravel. This piece of gravel here was jammed, had the linkage jammed where it wouldn't let it come back out of second gear. They pulled it apart, and this fell down from the linkage, and Ricky Rudd wants this to be kept as a souvenir of what this little rock cost him today at Watkins Glen. Now, there's also some concern in the Kenny Wallace pit. He has complained of a vibration in the back of the car. Let me go up here to Jimmy Elledge. Jimmy, what's the problem? I heard him say it's got a vibration.
We're not really sure. I think it might be these 2 pits. Ricky just had a rock stuck in his transmission, and he just radioed in and said that he's got a bad vibration. We're not sure what it is. He said it's in the back of the car, so we don't know if a gear's going bad or, you know, the drive shaft or even a loose wheel. We're not really sure.
Feel like he can make it the rest of the way?
Well, I hope so. You know, I hope this caution takes a long time, and we only got to run 1 or 2 laps. That certainly makes me feel a whole lot better than having to run 10 or 12.
All right, they're going to hold their breath here in the Kenny Wallace pit, so late race problems for a couple of drivers.
Kenny Wallace back in the 22nd position. By the way, Ricky Rudd did lose a lap and has fallen back to 32nd. Now Ted Christopher driving the number 13 car in 24th spot. And again, we tell you that he finished second in the Busch North race here yesterday and won the NASCAR Featherlight Modified event yesterday afternoon. And doing a good job here in the Winston Cup race as well. Well, Rusty Wallace is the road course ruler when you talk about active NASCAR Winston Cup drivers. He has 6 wins. Started from the pole here today. Darrell Waltrip has 5 wins. So does Ricky Rudd. Martin and Gordon have 4 wins. Irvin and Bodine 3. But again, Jeff Gordon is going for his 5th consecutive win on a road course and is the leader at the moment. And now coming up on 2 laps to go. So we're not going to have much green racing here at the end of the event.
No, we aren't.
Check out the Hardee's field summary and show you the points as of now. If the race ended at the moment, Jeff Gordon would move to 5th in the point standings and knock Tony Stewart down to 6th position, although Stewart is in 6th spot. Rusty Wallace moving up 2, Andretti down 1, and Wally Dallenbach up 3 positions to 15th.
Sterling Marlin would take a big hit, losing 3, and there's Steve Spencer and some other drivers at Little, and Park gaining some, so would Kyle Petty. Kenny Irvan just made a pit stop. Good strategy on his part. It looked like they took on 4 tires. He was already at the back of the pack. He might be able to pick up several positions, even though they were only going to have 1 or 2 laps to go when they get the green.
Yep. Dale Jarrett, this is an interesting car, Ned. It's the oldest car that they have in their shop. They call it the Mule. This chassis was built back in 1992. It was raced at one time by Davey Allison, and it's the first time that it's ever raced as a Taurus. And so Jarrett has taken this old car to a very impressive finish here this afternoon.
And I think I just heard him tell his spotter or his crew chief, I'm not going to be too concerned about that spot ahead of me.
Well, Jarrett, as we indicated, the points leader, possibly on his way to a Winston Cup championship, comparing his year in '99 to Jeff Gordon's year in '88 when Jeff won the championship. Jeff had more victories at this point in 1998, but Jarrett has more top 5s, has more top 10s, and has only 1 DNF. In 1999, at this point last year, Jeff had 2.
Turn 6 right now.
Looks like we'll go in green here at the completion of lap number 88.
2 to go.
Can Ron Fellows catch and pass Jeff Gordon? And this certainly has been a break for Rusty Wallace because he needed to
save a half a lap of fuel. This should have done it for him.
A great jump down into turn number 1. Everybody stacking up behind Ron Fellows. Look at Jerry Nadeau trying to get to the inside of Rusty Wallace.
But in the meantime, Dale Jarrett got around.
Yeah, Jarrett picks up a spot, moves to 4th.
Got around Nadeau.
And the scramble is on. This is going to be an exciting lap and a half here.
Gordon got himself a good jump. Look how far he pulled out ahead of Ron Fellows. He didn't want somebody to ride on that back bumper when he goes into this inner loop or any other turn.
Yeah, they come to the inner loop. Nadeau back in the 5th spot. There's Tony Stewart and Wally Dallenbach. Joe Nemechek, who has been strong all day. Bill Elliott 9th. And Kyle Petty running in 10th position. Good run for Kyle. To turn number 10. And the white flag is going to be out for Jeff Gordon off of corner number 11. 1 more lap to go. Jeff Gordon looking for his 5th consecutive road course victory. Everybody pretty much in single file now as they come down through here, at least among the first 6 or 7. Mark Martin back there along with Mike Skinner. There are 31 cars on the lead lap, and we can set a NASCAR record here today if we have that many at the drop of the checkered flag, and that's just a few seconds away. Only 4 cars have dropped out of this event. Gordon through the inner loop for the final time. An impressive performance by Ron Fellows. And there is a spin in the loop. Inner loop.
That's what we hear. I understand it might have been Joe.
Oh, Nemechek. He was at 8th spot. And maybe Bill Elliott also involved, but he has made it through. And Nemechek is buried.
Yeah, he might not get back for that record that we were talking about. We need for all of them to get back, I guess.
Off of corner number 11. For the 5th consecutive time, his 5th win of 1999, 47th career win. It comes in his 210th start.
And bad trouble up here off of turn 10. Ted Christopher is off course down in the sand.
We understand that Dale Earnhardt is also damaged.
A lot of styrofoam all over turn 11 back here.
Let's go to Bill Weber, who's with Ray Evernham.
And Ray, congratulations, your 5th straight road course victory.
Well, it just says a lot about this team and Jeff Gordon. They worked real hard on the road course stuff. We've worked hard at it for a long time, and it's great to see him going. Got to thank God for giving us a beautiful day and letting us do this. I want to say hi to my man Tony. My big man Tony's in the hospital, and I know you're not feeling good, but this hopefully will make you feel better.
Got a talented road racer behind you there too down the stretch.
Got a talented driver, period. You know, he comes, he likes to test the road courses. He gets into it, and he comes here and he works hard, and he picks things, and this is one of the places he tells us what to do with the car.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Big Tony is Tony Gibson, who was on his way to the track here yesterday morning when he had a kidney stone attack. He is hospitalized here in the Watkins Glen area, and I'm sure watching, and sends his regards to his teammates as they head to Victory Lane.
And I sympathize with you because I know how painful those kidney stones are.
Me too.
A big crash up in turn number 11, scattered the styrofoam. As we indicated, it was indeed a big scramble on those last 2 laps, but Jeff Gordon comes home with his 18th win in the last 53 races. And emerging from his car, the winner of the Frontier at the Glen, Jeff Gordon. Here's our McDonald's Winter Circle interview and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, a nice cold sip of Pepsi and a big hug from wife Brooke and Jeff. 3 in a row here, but 5 in a row on road courses. What a record.
Oh, man, that's amazing. I tell you what, this team has just come so well prepared for these road courses. And, you know, we've just worked and worked and worked on getting better. And I guess that test we did up here, Watkins Glen, definitely paid off. I didn't get the pole because I thought we were capable of doing that too. But I'd rather settle for this win. It was a great run for us. Man, the car was strong. And I was having a lot of fun, especially battling with Ron Fellows. I mean, there's no better guy to race on a road course than him. And I didn't think I could hold him off. He was catching me in some places. And I just stayed after, tried not to make any mistakes, and start pulling back away from him.
End of July, Ron Fellows came up here, and he was actually quicker than you in testing, and that had a lot of guys concerned, but you were able to pull away somewhat toward the end.
Yeah, you know, our car was just really good on long runs. When the fuel level went down, the car just actually got better. Goodyear brought a great tire up here. I mean, the concrete going to the pavement was a little tricky, but I tell you what, you know, these tires held up good, so we're able to go on long runs. I want to thank God. I mean, you know, we've been through a lot this year, ups and downs, and he's been with us during the down times, and he's been with us during the up times, and, you know, can't do it without him, and can't do it without DuPont Automotive Finishes and Quaker State and Pepsi and GMAC. You know, everybody that makes this DuPont Chevrolet go fast, we certainly appreciate it.
Hey, go celebrate and enjoy it.
You bet I will.
All right, Jeff Gordon takes his 5th consecutive road course win as the 14th running of the Frontier at the Glen is over, and the defending Winston Cup champion in Victory Lane.
ESPN's coverage of the Frontier at the Glen from Watkins Glen being brought to you by Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, if you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. By Citgo, you know a neighbor when you see one. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Down to John Kernan.
With Ron Fellows, and Ron, a bit of a smile, but when you climbed out of the car, it looked like you were a little bit disappointed. 2nd place, Ron, it's not bad.
I know, but we want to win. We want to win. But, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. You know, Jeff Gordon and Ray Evernham have done an awesome job with their road race program, and I got to thank Brian Patty, you know, all the guys at Nemechek's team. They've done just an outstanding job. You know, we're disappointed. You come to win, but, you know, the effort that they put in a short amount of time, 8 seconds, a pretty good effort. And thank Bully Hill Vineyards, AER, Anco Wipers, and Chevrolet. 1-2 Chevrolet had to help a little bit in manufacturers. So,
2nd place finish for Ron Fellows to Bill Weber.
With Dale Jarrett, the road to the Winston Cup goes through the road course at Watkins Glen, and you escaped with a 4th. That's a big day for you.
Yeah, it sure is. It worked out for us. Didn't rain. That was a big plus for us. And then we had a really good race car, and it ran well all day. You know, it was fun to get up close enough to the guys to see kind of where we're lacking a little bit yet and try to improve our program a little bit more. But, in looking at the big picture, we did exactly what we needed to do here today, and came out of here, beat all the guys that are immediately behind us in the points, and now we go to a place that we feel very good about next week at Michigan.
Unofficially 300 ahead as he heads for a new frontier, Bob.
Indeed, as we go to Michigan, the interval is 300 that Jared enjoys over Mark Martin, 362 over Bobby Labonte. Jeff Gordon moving up to 5th in the point standings. Stewart down to 6th. Back here in a moment. Here are the results from Watkins Glen. The arrows indicating the drivers who led a lap. Jeff Gordon led the most. Dale Jarrett, although he did not lead a lap here today, did lengthen his advantage in the battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup. Darrell Waltrip had a good run, finishing in the 15th position.
Yes, it is. And we look at the second page here. We see that 30 cars were on the lead lap. 31 actually. And Jimmy Spencer, another good run, but he spun off the course. Then Joe Nemechek also had a problem there near the end and got off the course and dropped him back to 30th position. But Bobby Labonte got up to 24th position. Yep. That's about 10 positions better than he would have been had he not come back on the lead lap.
And there you see the remainder of the lineup. Boris Said led earlier. It was an exciting finish for Bill Elliott and Joe Nemechek. This was in the last lap as they headed for the inner loop. Contact between the two sent both of them off course, and Nemechek into the sand trap. Well, coming up next here on ESPN, the Miller Lite 200 for the CART FedEx Championship Series. That is at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Next week, we will be at Michigan. Friday, 3:30 Eastern, will run for the Bud Pole on the Deuce. Saturday, the Napa 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. That's at noon. Our happy hour coverage on the Deuce next Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And then next Sunday, week from today, it begins with RPM today at 11:30, NASCAR today at noon, and the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway at 2:30. RPM tonight will have the wrap-up of the day at 9 o'clock next Sunday on the Deuce. So again, Jeff Gordon emerges victorious here at Watkins Glen International, winning his 5th consecutive road race, and he moves up 1 position in the point standings to 5th. Ron Fellows finishing in 2nd, Rusty Wallace 3rd, Dale Jarrett 4th, and Jerry Nadeau finished in the 5th position. So congratulations to Jeff, and we will see you next at Michigan. So long from Watkins Glen as we invite you to celebrate another moment in ESPN history.